Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Chelsea. And this week I want to talk about a topic that isn't discussed enough, I feel like, in the fitness community, at least from what I've seen. And you've read the title. It's something I've mentioned in a previous video. It is privilege in the online fitness community. So whether it's someone's financial status, race, gender, sexuality, I feel like we often gloss over the privilege influencers and their target demographics have over the majority of the world. In this video, I'll be discussing the benefits and drawbacks of online fitness content, the accessibility of fitness to the everyday consumer, and how influencers can work to expand that accessibility. As usual, before we get started, I want to disclaim that I'm not trying to cancel or call anyone out in this video. If I mention any names, it's because I'm trying to cite my sources, just like an academic paper. Of course, I hope this will be more interesting than an academic paper, so let's just jump right in. Also in this video, I'll be referring to a lot of trends that affect the US, which is where I live, but just know that these macro trends like privilege, financial stability, accessibility are seen everywhere. So starting off, it's probably no surprise to you that the US healthcare system is just not good. It's a whole big mess that I don't want to get into today, but I do want to mention the obesity crisis as it relates to fitness. So according to the CDC, from data collected in 1999 and 2000 through 2017 to March 2020, the US obesity prevalence increased from around 30% to 42%. And during the same time, the prevalence of severe obesity increased from 4.7% to 9.2%. And notably, obesity affects certain groups more than others. Non-Hispanic Black adults had the highest rate amongst racial groups, and overall men and women with college degrees had a lower rate of obesity. And of course, the relationship between intersectional groups and obesity is very complex. Macro trends like industrialization, the rise of technology and more sedentary office jobs, and also capitalism preying on our insecurities while trying to sell us cheaply processed goods. All of this is outside the individual's control. But we can't deny that, as with a lot of negative trends, obesity has a bigger impact on lower income communities. In this article, Marilyn S. Townsend points out 3 diet-related reasons why this is. So there's higher energy dense foods eaten by low income consumers, there's food insecurity, and the types of food that are available to food stamp residents are just not the best compared to those of higher income communities. So while diet is definitely a big factor, exercise also plays a role in the obesity crisis as well. In their article, Physical Activity Considerations for the Treatment and Prevention of Obesity, the authors point out that physical activity combined with modifications to energy intake could be the most effective behavioral approach for addressing the obesity epidemic. So for exercise to be effective long-term, it's important to implement strategies that will facilitate maintaining this exercise behavior in overweight and previously overweight individuals. But as my focus in this video is fitness, let's take a look at how the online fitness community has facilitated getting people into shape. You've probably heard this 1,000 times, but the internet has truly made information available to everyone. And the growing fitness community is no exception. With one search, people can find exercise routines of any level, and sometimes you don't even have to search. You'll get these 5 tips for de-bloating your stomach right on your For You page as you're scrolling through TikTok. So theoretically, with all the information out there, it should be easy for everyone to improve their lifestyles, right? As we've seen over the COVID pandemic, workout channels like Chloe Ting have garnered millions of supporters as people try to improve their lives from home. And besides her, there are countless other channels that post these quick 5 or 10-minute videos to help you get active, if only for a short while. With all of this and the stay-home orders in 2020, it seems like it's pretty easy for anyone to get into shape and really focus on themselves during that time. But as I even thought that, I realized it was a privileged take. Even home workouts may not be accessible to everyone. Just think of all the people who are still balancing multiple jobs, the essential workers, people who might have to take care of kids at home. A lot of these people just don't have the time or energy to dedicate to fitness. In this blog post, trainer Lee Boyce points out how fitness will always be a privilege. Regarding training outside the home, he writes, due to disability or inaccessibility accessibility, economic status, and other factors, belonging to a gym isn't in the cards for a lot of people. It's not as simple as a quick subway ride or a drive up the street. Low-income households have much more to improvise when it comes to getting or staying in shape. There's also the spread of misinformation on the internet, like get-rich-quick schemes. A lot of programs that promise you results in a short amount of time just aren't going to be the most reliable. Of course, you can say that some exercise is better than none at all, even if it doesn't give results, but I still find it disingenuous to seemingly promise people something that just isn't realistic. And I talk about this a little bit more in my previous video regarding authenticity and Stephanie Buttermore, if you want to check that out. And of course, you can say that influencers use clickbait to draw people in, but they try to disclaim later that there are other factors involved. However, from firsthand experience, I can tell you that those Chloe Ting workouts really do pull you in and leave you disappointed when you don't find any results. And I think a large part of it is because influencers like her target a specific demographic of more vulnerable, younger, less educated people who are really looking for that validation and quick results from those programs. But as I mentioned before, maintenance of exercise behavior long term is going to be what really helps people, not just the overweight or obese. Next, let's take a look at the people who are pulling you in, whether it's to their YouTube channel, their free programs, products, clothing lines, whatever. Now, it comes as no surprise that most of these fitness influencers are conventionally attractive, of a certain financial class, and probably live in some big metropolitan area like LA. They have access to the gym, hiking, outdoor activities, you name it. One example I wanted to bring up in this video is Sanne Vloet. She's a Dutch model and former Victoria's Secret angel turned lifestyle and fitness YouTuber. She often posts workout videos and has even recently launched her own health coaching program. Her videos usually depict her cooking, traveling while also fitting in workouts, and just life as a small business owner and influencer. Now, there's nothing wrong with her content, like you do you girl, we love to see a girl boss winning, but obviously not everyone can afford this sort of lifestyle, or honestly start a paid coaching program from scratch without experience. Of course, Sanne works hard to create this type of content. You can't knock her for that. It's beautifully filmed and she honestly seems like a really genuine person. But we can acknowledge that while at the same time acknowledging the privilege that she and many other fitfluencers have. Besides financial privilege, the fitness community, like most of America, affords extra steps up to people who are white presenting, cisgender, able-bodied, all of that. If we look at the most popular fitfluencers like Pamela Reif, Yoga with Adrienne, Athlean X, MadFit, is pretty clear and comes at no surprise. While researching this video, I came across this article about a Sydney-based personal trainer who told his followers, "Don't mistake my hard work and dedication for privilege," in response to people calling him out for benefiting from white, male, straight, cisgender, able-bodied privilege. Not surprisingly, people didn't respond well. They pointed out that hard work and privilege are two different things, and it doesn't mean that you've never worked hard or deserve your success. It simply means the color of your skin will never be a factor in affecting any of that. And I think that sums up privilege pretty well. It can be pretty frustrating as a fellow content creator or even audience member when you don't fit into this conventional fitfluencer mold. However, with the internet being so vast, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We are also audience members and can vote with our clicks, our likes, our views to give attention to those whose experiences and values mirror our own. There are just so many influencers in the fitness community who are doing a great job and are very underrated. Sure, the people who rise fastest to the top are still a certain type, but I do think we're making strides in raising the more underrepresented voices. Here are just a couple of influencers I enjoy that don't fit in the mold. They are on screen right now, and feel free to check them out or even recommend any of your own favorites. And now we've come to wrapping up the video where I am supposed to give some sort of conclusion. But as with any open-ended discussion, there isn't one set solution to making fitness more accessible to everyone. A few ideas that I fully support I found in this one Medium article, such as making fitness centers safe places for all individuals by establishing policies prohibiting harassment. Obviously, you can expand on this, make it more specific, and enforce those rules. Changing our language to separate exercise from weight weight loss, which is something I don't think is going to happen quickly, especially in the online space with all of these clickbait titles and getting people's attention. But we can at least try in our everyday lives, right? Modifying fitness classes to include people of varying abilities and fitness levels, and overall just making fitness more affordable. However, if we want to look at the online space where I am speaking to you right now, first, I think we can all do our part to promote content with scientific backing, whether it's giving them our clicks or views or sharing with friends. And I think we're already doing a good job with people like Natasha Ocean, who is one of the more well-known creators who makes really good science-backed content. We can also hold fitfluencers accountable as we do with anyone online, especially if they are spreading misinformation. And for the fitfluencers themselves, I think they could take some time to point people in the right direction when they are beginners or unfamiliar with fitness. For example, if their personal content is not the best place to start, rather than selling their programs or schedules as a one-size-fits-all, influencers can tell people clearly what to expect and where to start. I think Carolyn Gerben does a good job with this, as she makes it clear her workouts can be quite intense, and she labels the ones for beginners clearly versus ones that may be for people who are more advanced. And lastly, this is more on the diet side, but fitfluencers can give diet advice while also respecting the cultural boundaries of a lot of their audience. I'd love to get into how fitness and ethnic cultures blend in maybe a future video, but for now, let's just say for many, the food they have available to them is very limited. They don't have access to the green juice or smoothies influencers drink every day. So it could be helpful for influencers to recommend basic food groups to eat per day rather than specific ingredients like farm-raised salmon or organic tofu. It's a much less intimidating place to start, as most people might not have the privilege to revamp their entire pantry to start a new diet. And that about wraps up my thoughts on privilege in the online fitness community. I genuinely enjoyed researching and talking about this topic, so I hope you guys were able to learn something or at least enjoyed watching the video. It's definitely a nuanced topic, so I'm open to whatever thoughts that you guys can share. Let me know if I missed the mark on anything or if you have any suggestions on what I can talk about in the future. I'm still experimenting with different styles of content on my channel, so thank you as usual for bearing with me. I really appreciate your patience and support as I figure all this out, so thanks for sticking around. And as usual, if you've come this far, I'm super glad you're here, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.